Hello, and welcome back to Invitation to Puzzles, where today we have a No 3 puzzle by Eric Fox, creator of such things as F Puzzles and Acre. This should be exciting. So I haven't done this before, but fortunately there are rules, so we're going to read the rules carefully. So we're supposed to shade some cells. So shaded cells can't be orthogonally adjacent, so I can't shade two cells that are next to each other. Circles in the grid that look kind of like Kropke dots always overlap exactly one shaded cell. Three consecutive shaded cells in a row must have a different distance between them. So, of course, I can't do that. That's them shading, but it's saying I can't do that either because that's sort of an equidistant space. And I'm also, interestingly, forbidden from doing that, which is going to be a very interesting rule, I suspect. Let's see. And finally, all unshaded cells on the board form an orthogonally connected area. So let's see how we can do with this. I was curious if this was an Eric Fox invention, because a lot of the standard genres you see now are Eric Fox inventions. But this one seems to be a Niccoli invention, which is, probably another of the most common sources. So the first thing I see is that if I shade this cell, the world breaks immediately, because then I unshade this and I shade this, and now my unshaded cells aren't connected. That's because basically sort of the white dots that are between two cells sort of force things to alternate. And so if I shade that, I also shade that, and I disconnect the world. So these must be unshaded and that's shaded. To start, I can do that over here, and it's even better. Actually, I can do this in every corner. I see. And in this corner, it's a little bit better because here again, here I get that's shaded. And so I can do over here a little bit more. I think Eric Fox was the one who said you should always decide what break-in to put the what box to put the break-in in your Sudoku puzzle in by rolling a 9-sided die. I could misremember, but I think that's true. This green cell here needs to connect to its friends, and because of the bespoke rule of this genre, I can't shade that, or that would be 3 shaded cells in an arithmetic progression. So this is unshaded, therefore that's shaded, and that's unshaded, therefore that's unshaded. Like that. Okay. So I see something about this arrangement of dots here. Let's see if I can grab my little tool and draw. So one of these two is shaded and one of these two is shaded. Sort of by a kind of X-Wing-ish pattern, that means that one of these two is shaded, because if neither of those was shaded, these would both be shaded, and that would be terrible. And what that means is, if I hit the garbage can and the arrow, what that means is these are both unshaded, because there's only one shaded on this dot, and it's definitely in one of those two places. And we can do the same thing over on this dot, because again, we've got these two things in the similar sort of arrangement where it's either these two are shaded or these two are shaded is one way to think about it. But whichever way it is, those are unshaded. Got these 4 dots in a row is kind of interesting. It's probably going to be interesting with avoiding the 3 in a row kind of pattern, maybe? I'm not quite sure. In fact, actually, I'm going to get like a zigzag wall out of this area is what's going to happen. It's either going to have to look like that, with those being the shaded, or like that but upside down, sort of Hayawake style. Oh, I can repeat the argument, by the way, to say that these two are unshaded, right? Because if the same X-Wing pattern happens over here, this is either this way or that way, and either way, one of these two is shaded. So those aren't, which actually immediately shades that cell thanks to this white dot. Unshades that cell thanks to the power of connectedness, which is somewhat but not quite like the power of friendship. This cell is shaded because one of the 4 needs to be. Now this dot shades that cell. That's unshaded because there's exactly one shaded cell on each of these, and now that's shaded because of the same reason. That's shaded because of that dot. I better not shade that cell, because if I shade that cell, I definitely destroy the world. Because of connectedness, just to be clear, that makes that disconnected. Okay, now I see this. We have done Hayawake things a little bit, because now I see a couple things. But remember, I said either these two are shaded or these two are shaded. Well, if it's these two, we've disconnected the world, because now that straight line of black cells disconnects the universe. We also shouldn't disconnect the universe here, because this would create a wall that would disconnect that piece off. So we shouldn't do that. I also see a couple things. This 4-way needs to have a shaded cell on it, and this one way needs to have a shaded cell on it. I don't know. That's shaded, so that's unshaded, and this is unshaded just for connectedness. While I remember that I saw it, and before I forget, even though it's not sort of the most natural, logical thing for me to do next, I want to note that this can't be shaded, because if it was, that would be shaded, and I'd have my arithmetic progression of shaded cells that I'm not supposed to have. Namely, you would have those 3 being shaded, and they would be equidistant from each other. So that one's not shaded, which means that the way this goes is like that. If I shade this cell, it disconnects the board into sort of 2 halves, if you will. Okay. Now what? Now I apply this ridiculous rule to this long string of cells. If this cell was shaded, then these 3 would be in an arithmetic progression, which I am not allowed to do. So I have to shade this white dot the opposite way around. This is a cool rule. Okay, so now sort of following that, that's shaded. All of these are unshaded because of that white dot. Now that's shaded because of that one. That one's unshaded. So that's shaded because of that white dot. Oh, and apparently we're done. Yeah, you can see that that has to be unshaded because of that. That has to be unshaded because of that. And this is unshaded because of the 3 in a row rule. So we'll call that good. Okay, excellent. We have succeeded at my first no 3 puzzle. What a weird and delightful genre. I really enjoy genres that don't feel a whole lot like other genres. I mean, this is, I guess, like any genre where you need to keep the green cells connected and your shaded cells can't touch orthogonally. I think those are all collectively known as domain genres. So this is sort of in a bucket with some other things like Hayawake, but this honestly doesn't feel that much like Hayawake, aside from the fact that you're scanning for something really weird. But this is very cool. Nice. I'll probably do one of these again at some point if I ever come across one again. Anyway, that's all for today's episode of Invitation to Puzzles. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments if you enjoyed that as much as I did. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.